أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. This is a topic concerning Shaytaan. Shaytaan is our enemy, how he takes out his enmity upon us. From Dini aspect, we have three enemies. One is Shaytaan, secondly the society, and thirdly our own nafs. So amongst them is Shaytaan. From the very beginning, he became enemy of Adam alayhi salam, Hawa alayhi salam, and his children, and his utmost effort is he has to go into Jahannam to take the children of Adam alayhi salam with him into Jahannam. So how he tricks, how he makes efforts, and how he tries to mislead the people and make them go astray so that they may go into Jahannam. Allah Ta'ala has not given Shaytaan power and control to do whatever he can do with us. Only power given to him is to influence by thoughts. قال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق وعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي. The day of Qiyamah he will say, don't blame me, blame yourself. I did not have any power over you to force you to do anything. I was only given power to influence you by thoughts. So that is the amount Shaytaan can do. That he influences our thoughts, he influences our mind and heart. He puts bad act in a good picture. He paints a good picture of a bad act. We are attracted towards it, we are led towards it, and we fall for it, and we carry it out and we fall into sin. So nevertheless, Shaytaan, he influences by thoughts and putting ideas. If a person can control himself, not follow the thoughts, not follow the ideas, inshallah ta'ala he will stay safe from the tricks of Shaytaan. Shaytaan uses our own weaknesses for his benefit. How does Shaytaan get over us? How does Shaytaan get control over us? It's due to our desires. The more desires we have, the more chance the Shaytaan has to influence us and trap us. So the mentioning, this is Shaytaan, we cannot see him, we cannot hear him, but his thoughts are directly onto the heart. All the time, if you look at our heart, there are always thoughts and ideas coming. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. The good thoughts and ideas are from Allah Ta'ala through the angel. And the evil thoughts, bad desires, they're put by Shaytaan. Nevertheless, Shaytaan uses our own weaknesses in controlling, in catching us and trapping us and making us do wrong things. शैतान के बड़े दरवाज़ों में एक पेट का भरना है. Amongst the doors through which Shaytaan gets into us is the desire of food, and desire for tasteful food, and desire for overeating. So through that, Shaytaan catches us. अगरचे halal व साफ खाने से हो, even though the person may be eating halal and is eating pure food, but if somebody is lured towards excessive eating and late tasteful eating, then through that Shaytaan will catch him also and make him go on the wrong way. क्योंकि पेट भरकर खाना शहवतों को कभी बनाता है. Because when a person eats, it creates strength in the body, and then the strength is misused, just like a petrol in a car. If there's a petrol in a car, the car will run. In the same way, more person eats, there is more strength in his body, and if he does not have control over his nerves, most likely that strength will be used or misused and abused, used in the wrong way. क्योंकि पेट भरना शहवतों को कवि बनाता है. A more person eats, the more strength is in his body, and the more strength in a body, more the desires erupt. और शहवतें शैतान के हथियार हैं. And lowly desires, they are the weapons of Shaytaan. Through the lowly desires, the person, he gets trapped by Shaytaan. A weak person, he can't get out of his bed. He can't do anything wrong. But a young person, strong person, healthy person, he's got strength in his body, he's got strength in his hands and feet, he's got strength in his private part. So he's more likely to get into trouble and mischief than a person who is not in a good state. Marvi hai, so usually the more strength a person has, more is likely to fall into a trap of Shaytaan. And more a person, he's in a state of weakness, he's ill, he's old age. Then because he doesn't have strength in the body, Shaytaan doesn't even put such ideas. Even if the ideas come into him, he cannot fulfill them. मरवी है कि इब्लीस यहया अलैहिस्सलाम को मिला. It is narrated that once Iblis, he met Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam. तो आपने उस पर हर किस्म की फांसियाँ देखी. So Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam saw he had many traps with him. तो आपने उससे पूछा ये फांसियाँ कैसी हैं? Yahya alayhi salam, what are these traps? What are you going to do with them? उसने कहा कि शहवतें हैं जिनके ज़रिए से मैं इंसान को फांसता हूँ. So he said these are traps and these are desires through which I trap and I trick the people, the children of Adam alayhi salam. So we look at us ourselves, people have different desires. Someone has desire for food, someone has desire for good clothes, someone has desire for mobile, someone has desire for TV, someone has desire towards attraction towards women, someone has the desire towards building a big house. So these are all desires and people are different. And Shaytaan, just like our old Hakim, they put their hand on the vein like this. And through that they recognize the illness of a person. So in the same way, Shaytaan, he recognizes our illness, he recognizes our weakness, and he traps us. If somebody, his desire is for good food and more food, he will most likely trap him through that. Someone has a desire towards good clothes, so whatever the Shaytaan first he recognizes the weakness of a person, what type of desire he has, and then he uses that desire to catch that person and trap that person. याह्या अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया इनमें कोई मेरे लिए भी है. याह्या अलैहिस्सलाम, is there a trap for me also amongst your traps? उसने कहा कि हाँ, अक्सर तुम कम शेर हो जाते हो तो हम तुमको नमाज और जिक्र से गिला बाल बना देते हैं. So he was saying to a prophet, he said, yes, when your stomach is full, then we make you careless from performing salat and remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. That when a person overeats, his body becomes heavy, he feels sleepy, he can't stay awake during night, and even if he stays awake, he starts to doze, his night goes. It's an occasion of performing salat. So with prophets, he cannot make them commit sins, but he tries to stop them from perform making ibadat, which is their norm. Said to Yahya alayhi salam that when you eat stomach full, then the body becomes heavy and you feel sleepy, and usually night time, which is for pious people time of ibadat, that time goes away, you feel like sleeping, you go to sleep and you make you miss your ibadat. So this is the amount they can do, or they try to do with the profits. But normal people like us, he does not become satisfied just by stopping us from making nafal ibadat. He tries to catch us by making us commit sins. आपने फरमाया और कुछ? Yeah, anything else? So he said, one trap we use upon you is overeating. The prophets, they don't overeat. The most they eat is up to the stomach full. But even eating to the stomach full, this is the effect. It makes a person heavy, it makes him sleepy, and most likely he will miss out on his ibadat. So Yahya asked him, do you have any other trap for me? उसने कहा, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. He said, no, we don't have any trap for you besides the one of eating. आपने फरमाया, अल्लाह से अहद करता हूँ कि कभी खाने से पेट नहीं भरूँगा. Straight away, Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam said, I make a promise to Allah Ta'ala, I will never eat stomach full. Because by eating stomach full, this is the harm, it stops me from making ibadat. So I make a promise to Allah Ta'ala, I will never eat stomach full. Nowadays, most of the illnesses are connected with overeating. That we overeat and it gives stomach problems, stomach ache, diarrhea, constipation, and many illnesses. The most usually connected with overeating. So this is physical. And besides physical, spiritually, it makes a person careless from deen. A student, his class time, he's supposed to do his study, but because of overeating, he's uncomfortable. He can't sit comfortably, he can't study, he can't concentrate. So this is the least harm we can see ourselves of overeating. So nevertheless, Yahya alayhi salam said there and then, I make a promise to Allah Ta'ala, I will never eat stomach full, so that this occurs, it makes me careless, it makes me sleepy, and it makes me miss my night ibadat. Iblisness, so he straight away took a lesson. Shaytaan, usually we just shrug it away. But Yahya is a prophet, they take lessons from everything. When he came to realize and learn that overeating, it makes a person careless and neglectful from ibadat, straight away he corrected himself. And he said, I make promise to Allah Ta'ala, I will never overeat again. No, I never, not overeat, I will not even eat to stomach full. इब्लीस ने कहा कि मैं भी अल्लाह से अहद करता हूँ कि किसी मुसलमान की भलाई की बात न कहूँगा. He said, I also make a promise to Allah Ta'ala that I will not show a Muslim which is anything beneficial for him. Like here he said to Yahya alayhi salam, because people were making them overeat. So he made his loss, that Yahya alayhi salam became more than alert, and he made a promise, I will not overeat, or I will not eat to the stomach full. So he said, I also make a promise, I will not give any good advice to any Muslim, so that he goes out of my trap. The author writes, कहते हैं कि पेट भरने में कुछ नुकसानात, 6 नुकसानात हैं. In eating up to the stomach, not one is overeating. Just eating up to the stomach full, there are 6 harms. अव्वल ये कि दिल से खौफ खुदा जाता रहता है. The first harm, the fear of Allah Ta'ala goes up because desires erupt. And once the desires erupt, then the person's heart goes away from Allah Ta'ala and he turns towards his desires. So the first harm of overeating is not overeating, eating to the stomach full. That the fear of Allah Ta'ala goes away from the heart because desires overtakes him, it covers his heart, so the fear of Allah Ta'ala goes away. Like those people who become used to doing wrong things, drugs dealing, fraud, and mugging, etc., they don't have any fear of the police. Because they become so used to it, the fear of the police goes out of their heart. Same happens here. When the desires overtakes the person, then the fear of Allah Ta'ala goes away, because desires, they overtake the fear. दूसरा, मखलूक पर रहम करना दिल से निकल जाता है. Secondly, the softness of the heart, and to be caring for the people and having concern for the people goes away from heart. The heart becomes hard-hearted. He thinks everybody's like me, everybody's well off, everybody's got enough to eat. So he looks at people from his own angle. That the mercy towards the people and the care towards people goes away from the heart. क्योंकि सबको पेट बड़ा समझता है. He thinks everybody's like me, everybody's got ample food, everyone's got ample of everything. So he doesn't care for other people, and he does not look towards other people who is in need and how to help them. तीसरा, अल्लाह ताला की इताअत से गिरानी होने लगती है. Thirdly, because when the person is caught in desires, the attraction towards the obedience of Allah Ta'ala and the attraction towards the ibadat of Allah Ta'ala, it becomes hard, it becomes difficult. For example, somebody is eaten after Maghrib, now to perform Isha Salat, to go to Masjid, it becomes very difficult. In the same way, he goes to sleep, now wake to fake for Fajr Salat, it becomes very difficult. If a person is hungry, he can't sleep, he just keeps changing his sides, and he keeps looking at the clock and watch, and it finds difficult to pass the night. But the person with heavy stomach who's overeaten, as soon as he falls to sleep, he falls to sleep, and the Fajr time comes, he thinks, so early, I just went to sleep a few minutes ago. So nevertheless, that because of overeating, it becomes difficult to make ibadat. He wants to read Quran Sharif, but as soon as he sits down, he dozes away because of the effect of the food. It goes to his heart and his head, his mind. चौथा, जब कोई अक्लमंदी का कलीमा सुनता है तो दिल नरम नहीं होता. When he hears something of good advice, the heart does not accept it. سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم. So one of the effects when a person is given a good advice, but the heart does not accept that advice, is a sign of a heart being hard. So hard does not mean it become like a stone. No, the ability to accept good advice goes away from the heart. That is the hard-heartedness of the heart. So when somebody is advised in a good way or towards something good, and it does not accept it, or it goes one step further, he dislikes it, and he looks with the wrong face with that person, and that is a bad sign that the ability of the heart has gone away of accepting the truth and beneficial advice. जब कोई अक्लमंदी का कलमा सुनता है तो दिल नरम नहीं होता. If he hears some good nasihat, the heart does not become hard, the heart does not become soft, and it does not accept that good advice. पांचवा, बीमारियां उबलती है. Such a person who overeats, after a time, he gets trapped in illnesses and diseases. If you look, then usually you find most of the illnesses occur because of the stomach, because of overeating. Nowadays the youth, they eat outside food, they take away food, etc. And they get used to it in a very young days. They have stomach problem, they have gas problem, they have diarrhea, and many illnesses connected with the stomach. And then once the illnesses come in the young days, then they increase and they become very difficult to cure as the age passes on. Young person should not even know what is illness, what is bimari. But nowadays young people, because of overeating and eating those things which don't suit them, from a very young age they get inflicted with illnesses, and they stay with them for the rest of the life will feel difficult to pass. So these are the 5 harms of eating up to the stomach full. So this is one of the doors of Shaytaan. It's outwardly something permissible to eat. Eating is permissible, but Shaytaan makes it a means of trapping us and take us away from deen and indulge in wrong things and indulge in desires. और एक दरवाज़ा असबाब खानगी और लिबास की आराइश की मोहब्बत है. One of the doors to which Shaitan gets into us, the love of adornment, adorning the house and decorating the house and wearing fashionable clothes and expensive clothes. Nowadays, mobile for a young person, a mobile, play games, playstations, if you pass a driving test, and a good car. So according to the person's condition, Shaitan, he recognizes the person and uses that desire to trap the person and catch the person. कि शैतान जब किसी दिल के ऊपर उस मोहब्बत को गालिब देखता है तो उसमें अंधे बिछे देता और इस तरह मुतवज्जे करता रहता है कि मकान तामीर करे, उसकी छतों और दीवारों को बजाए और कमरे वसी करे. So when a shaitan sees somebody has love for the house, then he puts in his heart, renovate your house, decorate your house, change the decoration of the house, change the roof, and change the carpet, change the sofa. So in that way he gets him trapped. Now he's running around the shops. His money is being wasted and his time is being wasted. Instead of engaging himself in a beneficial act which helps him in the hereafter, he's running around the shops to buy the tiles, to buy the wallpaper, and what is connected with the house. So the shaitan gives the idea of renovating his house, decorating his house. Once the person picks up the idea, for 6 months, 1 year, that person will go out of everything. Shaitan won't have to do anything with him. His salat will go, his jamaat will go, and his necessary work will go. If he's a deendar person, he's teaching in madrasa, his time for madrasa will go, everything will be affected. In the same way, और उसको तरगीब देता रहता है कि कपड़ों और सवारियों से मुज़य्यन व आरास्ता होने की. And if he sees somebody has love for good cars, expensive cars, then he will turn him towards that. He's going to this showroom, he's going to see this car, he's going to see this car. He uses one car for a few days and a few months, and now he wants to change a car. He does not realize how much his time is wasted, how much his money is wasted. He bought the first car for £5,000. After 3-4 months, now he's selling that car for 3,000, and he wants to buy a new one for 10,000. It becomes, he does not realize, but it's a trap of shaitan. In doing that, he's wasting his time, wasting his money, and he's distracting him from the purpose of life, of ibadat, and preparing for the hereafter. So if somebody has a love for clothes, he's going to this shop, he's going to this shop, he's going to this town shop, supermarket, he's going. So this is how he traps us. और इसमें उसको गुलाम बनाए रहता है. The person is trapped by shaitan, he's doing slavery of the shaitan, but he thinks, I'm free, I can do what I want to do, I can make my house in whatever way, I can change my car. He does not realize he's been enslaved by shaitan. Shaitan is showing the ways, and he thinks, I'm independent, I have freedom, I'm doing what I want to do. और जब इसमें डाल देता है तो 2 बार उसकी तरफ आने से मुस्तगनी हो जाता है. So once the shaitan traps someone in any one of his desires, then the shaitan does not need to come to him again. Or to just a simple example, you will see somebody is renovating the house. Then he will be all the time he wakes up, he's going to the builders, he has to speak with the builders, he has to go to the shops. So all his time and money is spent in that. Shaitan would have to come to him again. He's so much occupied that he's wasting his time and he's spoiling his hereafter and his deen. क्योंकि ये चीज़ें खुद ही दूसरी चीज़ों की तरफ बुलाती रहती है. Because the desires, they're like a chain. And when we fulfill one desire, it will call towards another desire. And that is fulfilled, it will call towards the third desire. So it becomes a chain. For example, somebody starts to do some housework. Then, firstly, he'll start off breaking this wall and changing this. Once he has done that, then some other matter will crop up. So it becomes a chain, it becomes a rolling ball. और हमेशा एक से फारिग होकर दूसरे में मशगूल होता रहता है. So whatever is his desire, he does not fulfill one desire, then another desire erupts. For example, somebody has a desire for eating from restaurants and hotels. Few days he will eat from one restaurant, one hotel. Now, after a few days, his desire is fulfilled there. He'll look for a better restaurant, he'll look for a better hotel, and he'll go to another town, and so on. Applies in everything. Once a person follows the desires, there is no limit to desire, there is a limit to need. The need will be fulfilled. For example, eating, somebody has a need to eat 3 chapatis. So he's eaten 3 rotis, 3 chapatis, his hunger will be fulfilled. The stomach will say, I will not be able to take more than that. But the desire, there is no limit to desire. More we fulfill the desire, more new desires will erupt. So the person gets engrossed in fulfilling desires, takes him away from the purpose of life. यहाँ तक कि मौत तक पहुँचा देती है. In such a state, his death comes. Usually, if we look at life, a youth is interested in sports and games. Then when he becomes young, when he becomes a married person, now he's engaged in making a house better and better, having a good car. So it becomes a step by step. As we grow, our desires grows, and we get engrossed in it, and we do not realize. And eventually, person goes into the old age, and he sees a time of going to the grave, and he's been engrossed in the worldly and desires, and he goes without preparing for the hereafter. पर शैतान के रास्ते और इत्तिबाई ख्वाहिश से नस्लों मुब्तला शुदा मर जाता है. And a person passes away, he's trapped by Shaytaan, he's following the ways of Shaytaan, and his life is all revolving around the fulfilling the desires, and he goes from the world in such a state. Instead of being obedient to Allah Ta'ala, instead of making ibadat of Allah Ta'ala, he goes in a way as though being obedient to Shaytaan. और इससे अंजाम के बुरे होने और कुफ्र पर मरने का अंदेशा है. By passing such a life, fulfilling the desires, following whatever the Shaitan puts in our heart, the person's worldly life is bad, he's away from deen, he's neglected from deen, and there is a danger that his death might come in a state of kufr. Allah apni panah mein rakhe. May Allah Ta'ala protect us and save us from such a condition. Because more person indulges in the world and desires, more he moves away from the deen. And eventually, at the time of death, he has no connection with deen, he has no remembrance of the hereafter, and he passes away in a state, he loses his iman. Somebody who was a non-Muslim, he passes away in a state of kufr, that is something regrettable. But being a Muslim, born in a Muslim family, and because of neglect and following the nafs and shaitan, he passes away in a state of kufr, that is more regrettable. Allah Ta'ala save us from such a condition. और एक बड़ा दरवाज़ा लालच है कि जब उसका किसी कल पर गलबा होता है तो जिस शख्स की कुछ तमा होती है उसकी खातिर तरह तरह की नमूदार तदबीर से तसन्नु और ज़ेबाइश को शैतान मुस्तहसन करता रहता है. One of the doors to which Shaytaan traps a person is greed. That when a person has a greed, then he closes his eyes from halal and haram, jais and not jais, permissible and not permissible, and it destroys his deen. A greedy person, so greed of whatever, that to acquire his greed, he loses his deen and he does not care. For example, somebody has greed for wealth. So now he will not look towards halal and haram. But in whatever way he can acquire wealth, he will try for it. In a non-permissible way, dealing in interest matters, indulging in interest, or gambling, or any, once the greed is towards acquiring wealth, he will not look at halal and haram. And to acquire that, he will do whatever he has to do. In doing that, he will spoil and ruin his deen. And Shaytaan makes non-permissible ways attractive towards the person, and it covers the harms of that bad act, and the person goes forward and carries it out, and because of that, he spoils his deen, he spoils his dunya. यहाँ तक कि गोया वही उसका माबूद बन जाता है. His greed becomes his lord. Whatever greed tells him, he follows it. Close his eyes from permissible and non-permissible, halal and haram. How can he fulfill his greed? और हमेशा इस तदबीर में लगा रहता है कि जिस तरह भी उसको राज़ी कर सके उसकी मोहब्बत का इजहार करे. And to fulfill his desire and greed, then whoever it is attached with, then he will become a slave of that person. अगरचे खुदा नाराज हो जाए, he does not even care that Allah Ta'ala becomes displeased because of his disobedience and going against the Shariat, but the greed makes him do even wrong things and haram, indulge in haram. और एक बड़ा दरवाज़ा माल है. One of the gates and doors through which Shaytaan traps a person is wealth. कि जब ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा होता है तो शैतान की क़यामगाह होता है. The person has more than the necessity of wealth, then it becomes a place for Shaytaan to stay. Because when a person has excessive wealth, Shaytaan shows him way how to use it. Meaning, in desires, young person has a lot of money with him, he will buy an expensive mobile and expensive clothes, he will start to go to club and casino. So this is the harm of when a person doesn't have enough wealth, he finds it difficult to maintain his family. He will not think of having an expensive mobile, going to casino, going to clubs, because he's worried, how will I fulfill the needs of my family? But when he has excessive money, Shaitan shows him the way. Buy this mobile, buy this car, go to this club, go to this casino. So this is the harm of money. When a person has excessive money, Shaitan shows him wrong ways and does not allow him to realize, I'm using my money in the wrong way. He's just enjoying himself. Holidays, trips, all these things, the result of excessive money. और जिसके पास ये नहीं होता, वो फारिग होता है. A person does not have excessive wealth, and he does not think of going to club, he does not think of going to holiday, he does not think of going to a casino. He's worried that I don't lose my job, and that I acquire enough money that I sustain and maintain my family. बस अगर 100 दीनार हाथ आ गए तो दिल से 10 ख्वाहिश उभरेंगी. If somebody 10 dinar, 10 golden coins, meaning if somebody acquired excessive wealth, then his desires, they'll start to erupt. When he has no money, there is no point in desiring, he can't fulfill them. When a person has excessive money, now Shaytaan starts to show him desirable ways how to spend that money and how to enjoy himself. कि हर ख्वाहिश को 100 दीनार की हाजत होगी. So to fulfill the desires, he has this golden coins. Each desire will need 100 dinars. It will put him into debt. बस 900 दीनार की और ज़रूरत होगी. So you need 900 more dinars. और यही सिलसिला गैर मुंतहा चला जाएगा. So there is no end to desires. Whatever money he has, it is not sufficient to fulfill the desires, and he will become overburdened with debts. और जिसका and he will pass away from this world laden with debts of other people upon him, and in doing that, committing sins, he will go into Jahannam. और बड़ा दरवाज़ा बुखल और इफलास से डरना है. One of the doors to which Shaytaan catches a person's stinginess and the fear of poverty. कि ये सदका करने और नेक कामों में खर्च करने से रोक देता है. Because the fear of poverty and stinginess, it stops a person from spending his money in a good cause. All the time, I need money for this, I need money for this, I need money for my children, I need money to maintain my house. So this fear, it stops him from spending in a good cause, and that money spent in the wrong places, and instead of acquiring sawab, he ends up acquiring guna. और जोड़ने और जमा करने पर मजबूर होता है. All the time is counting. I have 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds. So all the time his attention is accumulating wealth. बस आखिरत में दर्दनाक सज़ा का सबब बनता है to the extent he doesn't even perform Hajj, he doesn't give zakat, so he does not fulfill the faraid of Allah Ta'ala. और एक बड़ा दरवाज़ा मजहबी तासुब और दूसरे फरीक से कीना रखना. The doors through which the Shaytaan catches a person is hatred. That he creates hatred. If something happens from someone, the person, he takes it badly and starts to think of the person's weaknesses, his faults, and starts to backbite him and starts to harm him. So this is the whatever wrong habits we have. Shaytaan uses these wrong habits into making us commit a sin and create hatred amongst the people. उनको हिकारत की निगाह से देखता है. He looks down upon that person. और उसने आबिद और उलमा को हलाक कर दिया है. And usually he catches with the hatred the pious people, that outwardly they're pious, they're punctual with outwardly deen, but inside they have hatred, they have jealousy, and that burns away their virtue. और दूसरों का तो क्या पूछना, क्योंकि लोगों पर तान और उनके उयूब बयान करने में मशगूल होना तबीयत का खुल्की अमर है. So when a person has hatred for someone, and a person has jealousy for someone, when some person has enmity with someone, and he starts to think of his weaknesses, faults, and then speak them out in front of other people. He has this fault in him, he has this fault in him, he has this wrong habit in him, and he gets involved in backbiting and spreading wrong things about the other people. और उनके उयूब बयान करने में मशगूल होना तबीयत का खुल की अमल है. पर शैतान ये ख्याल डालता है कि तान अमल हक है. शैतान को ऊपर what I'm saying is the truth. He has this fault in him, so I'm only saying what is in him. But even if somebody has any fault in him, to say to such a person who can't do anything about it, that is backbiting and it's a gunah kabira. Either you advise him directly, that is permissible. You tell someone who can correct him, his father, his elder brother, his ustad. So if you tell someone he's got some wrong habit, you can't tell him directly, you tell someone who can correct him, that is permissible, that is nasihat. But you say to those people who can't do anything about it, then that is backbiting and that is a major sin. Usually this is what happens, that we see somebody's fault, We don't tell him directly, we don't tell his near people. We go around telling our friends, we go around telling other people, he's got this in him, he's got this in him. No one can do anything about it. And the speaking person, he falls into the sin of backbiting. The people listening to him, they also fall in the sin of listening to backbiting. उसकी हलावत गालिब आ जाती है और उस पर इस ख्याल से खुश होता है कि दीन के काम में कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. Shaytaan tricks the person in khidmat of deen, but he makes him jealous of other ulama, other people who are doing the khidmat of deen, and he speaks badly of them. He thinks I'm doing khidmat of deen, and I'm spreading the deen, I'm informing people of the wrong of this alim, and I'm warning the people. But in fact, the reality is taking out his enmity, he's taking out his jealousy through these things, and he's washing away and burning away his own virtue by being jealous and having enmity and hatred towards other people. So nevertheless, this is a very important topic. Usually we don't realize how Shaytaan tricks us, and the root of that, it comes to our own nafs. We have desires, and the Shaytaan, he makes them erupt. If we can control our desires, ask Allah Ta'ala for protection, inshallah Ta'ala we will stay safe from the tricks and from the traps of Shaytaan. Allah Ta'ala save us from tricks of Shaytaan. Allah Ta'ala keep us on the right path, give us the understanding of our own nafs, and give us tawfiq to control it and not fall the trap of Shaytaan.
Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.